Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Traveling to cheap countries is one of the ultimate goals for budget travelers, and here are some of the cheapest countries to visit. These are great starter countries for the budget traveler, although some of them can be quite hardcore for the beginner. You can get by on an average of $15 a day for simple accommodation, cheap food, and local transport. And maybe a beer or two. You could get by on even less if you wanted to. This is just an average number. For the basics, these countries are cheap, however. Just like everywhere else, as soon as you start doing more activities, the price will jump up. Also, if you stay in the more popular tourist areas in the cheapest countries to visit, you will most likely spend more, as the temptation to go out more will be strong. In this video, we are talking about 7 cheapest countries to travel on a low budget. But before we get into the video, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Number 7. Peru. One of South America's liveliest countries, and thanks to its popularity, cheap accommodation is plentiful. Visit Peru in April and May, or September and October. These times are off-season, and prices are even cheaper. Stay in a hostel dorm room for around $8 to $15 per night, or a double private room with a bathroom for $25 to $35. Budget hotels start at around $30 to $50 per night. Find the cheapest food at street stalls and outdoor markets, from $1 to $2 per meal. Lunch or dinner at a sit-down spot starts at around $4 to $6. The average price for a 10-hour bus ride is around $30 to $70. A taxi around Lima should cost no more than $8, or you can take the new clean intra-city buses for $0.50 to $1 per trip. Visiting archaeological sites and other popular tourist attractions are probably going to be your biggest expense. A day trip to Machu Picchu costs around $50. You can book a Nazca Lines helicopter tour for 35 minutes for $97. Multi-day trips up the Inca Trail usually cost hundreds of dollars. Number 6. Thailand. Is Thailand cheap? You're damn right it is. The north side of the country, however, is definitely cheaper than Bangkok and the islands. Find a cheap room in the city for $7 and $4 in the countryside. If you're on the islands or want an air-conditioned room, you'll pay at least $17 per night. Hotels start at around $40 per night, and the bigger resorts on the islands start at $50 per night for a bungalow on the beach. Hungry? Street food can cost you as little as $0.65 per meal, and around $3 to $5 if you decide to eat at a local restaurant. I know lots of people are wary of eating street food, but it's actually pretty safe, sometimes even more than restaurants. You'll often find the best of Thailand's food on the streets, and it'll cost you a lot less than if you eat at a restaurant. Getting around is cheap too. Local buses cost $0.25 per trip. The Metro and SkyTrain in Bangkok cost around $0.50 to $1.50 per trip, and colorful cab rides range from $1.75 to $3. A tuk-tuk ride will cost around $3 to $7. If you, and you absolutely should, decide to explore different parts of the country, you'll find it fairly cheap to do so as well. Day trains cost as little as $7. A second-class ticket on night trains is $17, non-air-conditioned. Book a ticket to take a boat to many of the islands for $7 to $14. Number 5. Nepal. Trekking in the Himalayas is the most popular activity in Nepal, but there is much more to explore. Wander through the streets of Kathmandu and enjoy late-night Nepalese food in restaurants open late into the night. Journey to monkey-filled temples, prevalent thanks to the huge Buddhist and Hindu influence throughout the land. If you decide to stay around the city of Kathmandu, a budget hotel room can range anywhere from $5 to $25. A sit-down meal will only cost you around $2 to $4. Or you can go the adventurous route, jungle safaris, biking trips, whitewater rafting, hang gliding, or trekking the tallest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. A dinner and breakfast in a trekking lodge costs around $10 to $12, and for $15 to $25 per day, you can hire a guide for the entire journey. Number 4. Cambodia. Cambodia is a country with a rich history, amazing food, and a decent nightlife scene, similar to its neighbors Vietnam and Thailand, but it's one that is a lot less developed and thus visited. So, if you're up for exploring an off-the-beaten-path country in Southeast Asia, Cambodia is definitely one to visit. Spend around $1 to $3 for a local meal at a restaurant or on the street. Accommodations won't cost you much more. Get a double room with a fan for $4 and an air-conditioned room for $6 to $8. You can choose what you spend, of course, and a decent hotel room will still only be around $15 to $20. Tuk-tuks, carts pulled by motorcycles, are a common form of transportation, and a short ride will cost you around $1. Hire a tuk-tuk all day to visit the temples around Angkor for around $13 all day. Number 3. Sri Lanka. Sleep on the beach in a cheap cabana and eat your meals in budget cafes for around $20 per day. A bus ticket from one end of the island to the other is around $20, or hire a car and driver for the entire day for around $55 to $70. A typical meal at a cafe will cost you around $2 to $4 per meal. And to continue on with all that cheap living, you can find a double room in a guest house, most with an awesome view, for again, around $20 per night or less. The only thing to consider is that there is an official difference in pricing for locals and tourists. Entrance fees to popular archaeological sites and national parks can cost a tourist $30, while it's free for locals. Number 2. Turkey. On my bucket list for years now, Turkey is one of a kind, a unique mix of Eastern and Western culture and home to some of the world's most spectacular landscapes. Delicious food, fantastic sights, and plenty of things to see and do. Kebabs and domer kebabs, otherwise known as shawarma, can cost as little as $2. Most hostels around the country will cost you $20 to $30 a night. If you're planning on staying for a few weeks to explore the entire country, the buses are cheap and run often. A 12-hour bus ride from Istanbul to Cappadocia will cost you around $30. Number 1. Indonesia. Indonesia, a beautiful chain of islands where you can see orangutans in the wild, climb volcanoes, visit ancient historical sites, and lay around on the beach all day and night. If you can't give up the air conditioning and party at night, the cost of traveling in Indonesia might hover from $25 to $30 per day. If you choose to be super tight on the budget, you can get by for only $15 per day. You can spend $2 to $4 for a double room in a hostel or guest house. Accommodation prices in Bali or the popular tourist islands of Indonesia are generally more expensive. Rooms with air conditioning cost around $11 to $17 per night for 2 people. Street food featuring single-plate meals or noodles cost anywhere from $0.50 to $2, and a giant plate of food with assorted side dishes costs around $1 to $2. If you want to sit down at a local restaurant, it will cost around $2 to $6 per meal. Getting around the country can be a bit challenging, since the country is a chain of islands. You can choose to take the ferry, plane, or bus. A flight from Medan, Sumatra to Jakarta, Java costs around $51. A 12-hour bus ride from Mount Bromo to Probolinggo, Java, and across a ferry to Denpasar, Bali costs around $18. That's all for today. Click the link in the description to check 10 most visited countries in Europe. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please leave us with your valuable feedback if you found this video interesting. Stay tuned to our channel till the next video, and until then, see you soon.